Have you ever felt like you had to be perky and sort of have your cheerleader personality on to overcompensate for his bad mood or just the tension and stress that you're feeling when spending time together? I'm Jen from jenmichellecoaching.com. And if you're anything like me, this feels absolutely awful when he's acting sort of short with us, inconvenienced. We're not feeling like he's adoring, cherishing, or really loving us or paying the attention to us that we want or need. But instead of acknowledging that, we're pretending we don't notice. But on the inside, we're just feeling so much pain, right? It hurts. But we feel like we've got to just take it and put on a smile. Otherwise, it's going to turn into a big argument and we're going to just rock that boat, which we don't want either. So, how do we handle a situation where he's just showing up in a way that's not okay without overcompensating by being overly perky or overly happy when that is the exact opposite of how we're feeling? And so we want to start with just really being with our emotions, right? We want to notice what's coming up for us. And when we want to respond inauthentically, we kind of want to just take a minute and ask ourselves, what's underneath that? Why do we want to do that? And how is it going to feel for us? We want to just ask some questions around it to catch these mechanisms as they come up so we don't repeat patterns or send out a vibe of being okay with taking his scraps or, you know, being desperate, being fearful. We want to really hold ourselves to a standard that feels good for us. And that can mean taking a step back and seeing what comes up for us before we respond, which can cause a delayed response that can be a little bit awkward. But I promise you, you will not regret that delayed response. And with practice, that delayed response will get more on point over time. It just takes a little bit of practice to sort of see what we're feeling and what's coming up for us before we sort of respond that instinctual knee jerk reaction type of way. And if you're the type of woman who's trying not to rock the boat, she's likely pretending to be okay and Miss Perky and Polly Positive at times when she doesn't feel that way. She feels pain. She feels like he's not stepping up and showing up in a way that's okay. And so, what I would want to invite you to do is just to be with those emotions and not overcompensate for them. Like, if he's showing up in a way that doesn't feel good, you can acknowledge, like, that feels bad to hear, or, you don't even have to say anything at all. If you're out and it continues, you can say respectfully, I think it's best that I leave tonight, which I know can feel so scary. But we don't want to stay in a situation where we feel like we have to overcompensate to fit his emotions, right? Like, we want to send the message that we trust that he's a grown man and he can take care of himself without us being his cheerleader or, catering and overcompensating to these types of behaviors. So the next time you notice this, how can you just sort of lean yourself back, sit back into it, and allow him to have that experience without feeling like you've got to step in and soften it in any way. Just creating that space, creating that ability for him to manage it. And if it doesn't feel okay for you, then you have something in your bag you can bring with you and do. You can leave, you can go take a walk, but you don't stay and pretend that you've got to be this really happy, oh, this is great when you're not feeling it, which I know can be difficult. Yet with practice, you will feel so confident and so empowered that you're honoring what your standards are and what your boundaries are. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I would love to hear your comments and feedback. I have additional resources on my site, jenmichellecoaching.com. Wishing you all a great week. Bye.